First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Everyone, welcome back to Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. As always, we appreciate you joining us. Don't forget, you can watch us live here every weekday. If you are watching live right now, thank you so much. Anytime between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m., we will be coming on with different segments and interviews and things that we cover here for the show. But you can always watch those afterward on the Fox 12 YouTube channel or at kptv.com under the Fox 12 Now tab or the Fox 12 Oregon app. Today, for this segment, we are talking about a game that you can play here in the Northwest that will allow you to go hunt real-life treasure. We're going to get into explain exactly how this works and what's going on with it because we have the creator joining us right now. We've got Dirk Gibson and Dirk. Thank you very much for being here. Yeah, I saw this press release come out that said, this game's now available in Oregon and this region where it had been in other places. I want to get into how this all works, but before we do that, you have a pretty prolific career producing television shows before you got into this. And could you give us just a little bit of that backstory and some of those things that you worked on?
Well, it's a crazy backstory because I actually started out my professional life in healthcare and doing psychology and helping people with mental health. And then as I was growing up, though, I was a river guide. So when I was in healthcare, I wanted to buy a river business and take people in the wilderness. And so I did that. I bought a river business. And then while I was in the river business, taking people in the wilderness, I met Lorne Michaels, who created Saturday Night Live. And I had an idea for a TV show. So here's a guy who's, administrator at a hospital, and then he's outfitting in the wilderness. And then he meets Lorne Michaels and he says, I have an idea for a TV show. And that's how I got into TV many, many years ago, like decades ago. And so, I had this idea and him and I sold it to NBC and it didn't go. Spent 2 years trying to get it to go. But anyway, I got my interest in TV, so I just created my own company. I live in Montana, by the way. And so I started creating TV shows. Mountain Man is one that you probably be familiar with, is on History Channel for 10 years. And then there was one called River of No Return. There's a whole bunch of them right behind me, actually. Yeah. So I've had TV shows on the air for like the last 14 years. And that's partially how I created this new company, Treasure Games. So it's kind of a weird way to go. You go from healthcare to outfitting to TV, and like one does, right? And then
common path there, yeah.
Yeah, it's a common path. Everyone does that. So you're sitting in Montana and you're making shows in LA, which is also very unusual. Most people who live in my town don't even know what I do. And so, anyways, I was. So for this idea of Treasure Games, this nationwide treasure hunting company that I built, the reason I built it is because 25 years ago, somebody won like $100 million or $500 million. It was kind of when the lottery was just getting going and it was the first big win. And I remember thinking to myself, how many people put in $1 each or $2 each or $3 each and only one guy won? And I just thought that's just not a great model to spread wealth. I mean, what about 500 people winning $1 million each? Now that would be a good model. That would be a great lottery model. And it's gotten worse, right? It's gotten harder to win. It rolls over and now people win $1 billion. And I'm thinking to myself, I could build something where 1,000 people could win $1 million instead of one guy winning $1 billion, and I should do that. So I've been thinking about it for 25 years, right? And then I was 6 years ago, I was working on a TV show idea for Netflix, and the idea was that I would hide these lamps out in the world, and when people found them, they get 3 real wishes, and I'd film it as a TV show, and we'd see what they wish for, and it would be all this awesome stuff and very emotional and moving and positive. But I couldn't do it as a TV show because it just couldn't control the production. The logistics wasn't great. And so I took that idea of these lamps and I took my idea of a better model to spread wealth and I put them together. And 6 years ago, I started building Treasure Games. And I just thought, you know what, I'm going to build a platform where I'll have all these games. And the first one will be called Wish Lamps, and they'll find a lamp, get 3 wishes or money, and so on. The next game will be called something else, and I'll just keep unrolling games until I have like 10 games in the United States, and I'll go to other countries. But the more I built it, the more I fell in love with the idea of games of skill and games where you can influence the odds, and it's not gambling, and it's not 100% chance. And so I just got really impassioned, and as my wife will tell you, I get consumed. So I'm running my entertainment business, and now I've built this startup, which is a global startup. And so that took 6 years, and I launched it on January 1st. And that's the strange story of how I came up with it.
That is an interesting pathway to get there. So So you have all these concepts, of more people being able to spread the wealth, I guess, essentially, and then this lamp. So, that sounds great on paper of how you're saying this. How does this actually work?
That's a great one. Yeah, it took me a year to build the business plan because I had to make sure I could do it, and I was right about it. But I was. We've already proven it. It's been going for 8 months. It's going well. So how it works is people come to our website or on the mobile app and they go to treasuregames.fun and they create an account. And you can create a free account or you can create a full access account. You can't win on the free account, but you can play part of the game and you can see all the entertainment because there's an entertainment level in there as well. But you sign up for $8.99 a month, and then you get this poem that comes out on day one when we activate a region, like your region is active right now. So the region you're in, we call Region 1. So there's a game map, right, in the game, and you can see Region 1 is Alaska, Oregon, Washington. And so when we activate a region, which we sometimes have 2 or 3 going at the same time across the United States, the first day that it comes out, everyone gets a notification and they get a poem that's pretty long. And if you solved it, you could win the first day. So that's part of his subscription as well. Oh, solve the poem, which Forrest Fenn did that. He wrote a book and he had a poem and people searched for 10 years. Took 10 years, I think, to find it. Ours have been found much faster, like in 5 days for $1 million one, actually. So anyways, so day one, you get the poem. Then every day after that, you get 2 clues that come out per region. So these clues come out every day. And then eventually we have advantage clues that come out 30 days later. And 30 days later, you can start purchasing things like a rangefinder to see if you're within 100 miles or turn your phone into a compass or a barometer. There's all kinds of cool stuff. You can actually get pictures from where the lamp is hidden and see what it sees. They're pretty blurry, but they're still pieces of a puzzle. So anyways, the players sign up, they can play as many regions as they want, it's the same price, or they can play free and not win, but they can just play. And they solve where they think it is. And as soon as they feel confident, they literally have to go far. It's a physical object, Greg, here it is. Here's one of them right here. So this is the Wish lamp itself. And it looks like a genie lamp, right? But it's bronze, it's heavy, it's really heavy. So I had it custom made, and it's pretty cool. Everyone that holds it goes, wow, it's so heavy and cool. So anyways, that's what they're looking for. That actual lamp is hidden across the country in every region. And so it's truly not do it on your phone, do it on your computer. It's like once you know where it is, you need to go actually get out of your house and go on an adventure and find the thing. And when you find it, then you claim the prize. And then another region and more regions activate, and we just keep playing.
So you're getting these different clues, these different hints, whatever it is throughout while you're playing the game there on your phone. And this is dialing it into where it is. Now, you mentioned the region includes Alaska, Oregon, Washington. That's a huge stretch of territory there. And are we talking about this thing could be out in the wilderness? Is this somewhere where you have to have phone service? How does that aspect work?
Well, so there's 10 regions. So all the states are grouped up, and eventually each state will be its own region. So this is a new game, new startup, right? It's only 8 months old. But imagine in 3 years, Oregon will just always have its own games and not just Wish Lamps, have the other games too. So like you'll be able to go out in your state and find treasure all the time and spread wealth. So right now, yeah, it seems like a lot, but you need to understand that for $200,000, which is the value of the lamp in your region, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be like, well, just go out on the weekend and find it. It's going to be hard. You have to really work the poem, solve the clues, and then eventually, when the advantage clues come out, you can start buying pins. Like $4.99 buys you a 100-mile radius, and you can just make guesses. And so it's a combination of the daily hints, the poem, and then eventually the advantage clues. I imagine one day someone will find it without the advantage clues just by figuring out the poem. But right now it's all those elements. And then there's treasure hunting skills, your intelligence as far as research, if you have a team or a family playing, and then you got to put boots on the ground. Once you kind of narrow it down to a city, you got to go look. You got to, do the treasure hunt. So.
And then you got to get out. So you have to get out there physically and follow up with those clues of wherever this may be. And I think there's examples too. I know of, I think somebody in South Carolina, I believe, has won, or I could be wrong on the regions, but I know that you've had winners, obviously, since this has been going for 8 months. So for those winners, 4 winners so far. And these are people who went out there, physically found this, lifted this thing up. Now, you mentioned there's the cash prize. So for this one in Region 1, it's $200,000. But you also said something about wishes. So is that still,
Yeah.
is that part of this as well?
So the way it works is the game, the goal of the game is to have every region be $1 million cash or 3 wishes worth $1.2 million. That's the goal. So right now, because this is funded by me and 4 friends, we don't have the ability to have 10 regions going at $1 million. But we every now and then we'll do $1 million one. The first one we did was $1 million. That was found in Dallas, Texas. We launched that in January. And so if you're at the full value that we can afford, the full value of the game, then you get the 3 wishes option. If it's anything below $1 million, you basically just take the cash, but we throw in an extra $10,000 for you to donate, because the 3 wishes, the third wish has to be for someone else. So that's part of the game rules and the whole DNA of the company of spreading wealth and, making the world better, is basically if you choose the wishes, yeah, you get more money to spend, but you also have to give some money away, something away, the third wish. So that happens with the $1 million lamps. So we had one in Dallas was $1 million. We had one just found in Spartanburg, South Carolina was $1 million. We had one just found, one in Colorado Springs was 200,000, plus we gave him 10 grand, which he donated. And then we have one just found in Region 4, which is up in the Great Lakes. That's a 200,000, and they'll get 10,000 to donate. And whoever finds the one in your region will get 200 plus 10,000 to donate.
And whoever, in this region that we're at, how long has this been going here in Oregon, in this region, for people to play?
We have Region 1 is what you're called, because we started there and went left to right. So creative. We went left to right over to New York and then down over. So we made 10 regions. You can see it on the homepage. You can see the map, and there's a schedule of when the regions are activating and which ones are active. So you can check that out on the homepage on the website. You guys activated on September 1st, so you're only 9 days old, I guess. Yeah.
9 days in, and so people have been actively playing this now. Now, if somebody starts in and they're 9 days behind, can they catch up, or are they just 9 days?
Oh yeah,
on all the clues?
Yeah. The people that just won $1 million in Spartanburg, they joined 24 days into it and won in 5 days. So there had already been people playing for 24 days, and 5 days later, 29 days total, they won it. So they didn't know about it. They'd heard about it because they saw a press conference release of one of the winners in Colorado Springs. So they joined, and then 5 days later they won. But there have been people playing all along. We've had people playing. It doesn't hurt you to join later. Of course you're risking it, but you get all the clues that are available when you join. So you don't have 2 a day. Like if you join and there's 60 of them, you'll get all 60 of them. And
for hiding this out there, how are you? Obviously we can't give away too much from this, but I'm just kind of curious from your end. How do you determine where it is that you're going to put these, and then are you writing all the clues afterward?
Oh man, those are good questions. So the first part is hiding the lamp is very difficult. It's way more than I imagined it would be because of the security issues, and it's brand new. So how do you call people and tell them you want to hide a lamp on their property or in their town? It's pretty tough. It's getting easier now because we've had 4 winners and press conferences, and you're in all these big magazines and news outlets. So it helps, but still it's relatively new to people. So I had to call my buddies who own commercial property for the first year and kind of like, hey, can I put this there? But the one in Spartanburg was hosted by the whole city, the chamber. So the chamber, like the visitor bureau, the tourist convention bureau, they hosted it. And I hope that's the future for me. I'd rather a whole city like Portland or Oregon, somewhere, some city, even the state. If the governor said, drive people to our state for the economy, because we're driving thousands of people there. I would love that, because I don't want to have it on commercial businesses, because it gets really kind of tough for me to do that. Whereas if you gave me the whole state or the whole town like Spartanburg did, it gets really easy for me to protect the security of where it's hidden, how it's hidden. All those options become more available to me. Whereas if it's a business, sometimes it's pretty limited. So it's been a little challenging to start with. It's getting easier. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of criteria that goes into how we hide them, where we hide them. There's security cameras on them. There's trackers on them. The people who are playing the game have to film themselves finding it and prove that they played the game and solved the clues. So they have to film everything, and they have to upload that content to our platform for entertainment. So I created the TikTok of treasure hunting on our platform. So there's that. As far as the clues go, that was another great question, Greg, is that right now, because we're such a small company and we're self-funding this, the main clue creators live in this house, and they're not me. My daughter, who just turned 30, is in charge of all the clues. She writes the poems. She's brilliant at that. My wife writes clues. You know, one of my partners will write clues. His daughter will write clues. But I would say the majority of it comes right out of here because it's a circle of trust at this point, right? I don't have big teams of people and security measures that I can take. So who can know where it is only the people that, you know, that you trust so that they write the clues and keep it legit.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's really a fascinating concept on how you've worked this all out, because that's a lot involved. A lot involved right there. And I think that my next question, I'm just realizing what time it is too, because I've been asking it so many, but for people here in, you know, Oregon and Washington, that's where we're at, Region 1. For people in this region, you know, what would you give them as a recommendation to do? Maybe if they haven't necessarily heard of this here, what recommendation would you have for them starting off with this as far as going on the journey?
I do have a recommendation because people get confused. They think it's an app. And that's like calling Facebook an app or Netflix an app or Google an app. They all have apps. I have an app. But if my advice to you would be, when you sign up, try the free trial first. You know, if you want to get in there and get around, you get 10 free clues, and you know, you're not going to get the poem because it can solve the whole thing, but you'll get 10 free clues and you get to watch all the entertainments and get the vibe and everything and see how positive it is. But if you go to full access, which is the $8.99 a month, my suggestion, advice, that no one is saying this, I'm going to start saying it to everybody, is you get 2 devices per subscription. So play most of it on your computer with a big giant screen, so you can see how the platform looks, how it functions. You can do your research. You only need the mobile app when you're out at work and you get a clue pushed to you during the day, or you're out searching. Because when Facebook came out, Greg, no one knew what it looked like or what it was, and it just sat there for months. When they finally had an app, it was okay that it was on a small screen because they understood the structure. So if you go and just go download our app, yeah, it'll be fast, it'll be easy, but I don't think it's that well done yet to get around and understand, well, where's the entertainment, where's the rules, where's the clues. So my advice would be, play it on your computer at home, then use your mobile app to go do other things when you go out there in the world, because that'll help you do research. Most of this game is solving the clues. You do it at home, and then you go find it. So probably 80% you work, you influence your odds by how much you work at it and how good you are at solving the clues. Then 20% is in the real world where you go find it. That's the biggest advice I can give somebody, is do it on your computer, do it on your phone, do both, get a feel for it, and play all the regions that are active. If there's more than one region active, the same price, just play them all. It doesn't matter if you won in New York, you're still gonna go get the money, aren't you? I mean, you're gonna go figure it out, or you're gonna call a friend. So if I was in your area, I would definitely play Region 1 because it's somewhere in there. It could be in your city, for all you know. And there's been a lot of people shocked they didn't play in Dallas the first game, and it was found right there in Dallas. Same in Colorado Springs, Spartanburg. And the new one, we haven't announced where it was found, so I can't tell you because it just happened like 2 days ago. But if I was in your area, I'd definitely sign up and at least check it out for free.
Well, Dirk, thank you very much, for joining us. This is definitely an interesting concept that you've created here, and combining a lot of those different things. With the career path that you had, I still don't follow how it all worked, but it obviously worked out, so to get there. And yeah, thank you very much for joining us here on Fox 12 Now, too, just to talk about this and go through what you've created there.
Well, thank you, Greg, and thanks for sharing it with your audience, because I know people get bummed when they find out later, when they see the press conference, that someone found it in your backyard, and it's like, we didn't know, so we're going to keep going. There's going to be more games, more regions, so hopefully people will hear about us and start playing all the games. It's all positive, it's totally positive.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dirk. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Greg.
And for everybody watching, again, this is Fox 12 Now. We are live streaming here from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. And we have lots of things that you can watch, too, at the Fox 12 Oregon YouTube channel. So go there, check out all of our segments, all the different things that we get to cover here. And you can also download the Fox 12 Oregon app on whatever platform you're on. Another great way to check out all the program that we have here and all the different segments and things we get to cover with Fox 12 Now. But we're going to sign off for right now. I'll talk to you soon. I'm Greg Nibler. I think I said it, but this is Fox 12 Now.